My name is Jeff, and I was in the Air Force. I was a security policeman. I served 75 through 80. I was in the 15th Engineers guarding airplanes. I did figure eights around refueling aircraft. Tail end of Vietnam, my buddy had told me that we probably didn't want to be trudging through jungles, so we decided to join the Air Force. It seemed like a good job at the time. Then we found out that Air Force bases were the ones being rocketed in Vietnam, and I slapped them. It was a pretty easy transition for me. But later in life, I mean, once I went through a divorce years later, I ended up on the streets. I had lost a job. I had no real want to get work at the time because I had just pretty much lost a family also. My wife and I had been partiers. We were part of the 70s. Drinking was a regular part of my life. The problem is, most of the people that I know didn't have the alcoholism. I did. I had the ism part of it. And when I got into the streets and thought everything was lost, that became my way out. I could get myself a 40 ounce of beer and fall asleep under the bridge. There were times that I felt totally abandoned, you know, especially when I had my divorce. When I walked out of my house, I walked out of my house with a cardboard box and 3 pairs of jeans. I had been a family man all my life. My 17-year-old son was still kissing me on my cheek to go to sleep. And it just didn't work between me and my wife anymore, but they had to pay for it. I decided that enough is enough. And so I went to the VA and met a beautiful gentleman named Carl. When I got in there, I went through the program. I was going to be steadfast, I was going to stand strong, and I fell down. And I started drinking again. Ended up back on the streets. I went through their program a second time, and they felt that I needed a little bit of mental health work in there. I was diagnosed with bipolar. I was diagnosed with general anxiety, situational anxiety. And to me, that was I think the reason why I continued to drink was because every time I started getting anxious and feeling that anxiety, it calmed me down, I thought. The year-long rehab program that I was in was out of Fort Sheridan, Wyoming. It was high intensity as far as when you were going through the alcohol recovery program. I was doing a lot of studying of the Buddhism people and some Hindu, looking into that, and they allowed my spiritual side to take over what I was doing. As far as my recovery was concerned that time. When you get in and you get into one of their programs, they really take interest in you, and they really are concerned about what you're about to go through. There are people out there that devote their lives to service of other human beings. All 3 of my children talk to me now. We talk at least once a week to each other. It means everything in the world to me. I have my family back. This is a poem that I wrote back sometime in around 2011. It's kind of a tribute to all the guys that I knew back when I was in service and other guys that I've met throughout life. It's called These Men I've Met. Who are these men I've met so far apart they touch? So close together, they cover the globe right here, each with their own story and unafraid to share. Who are these souls on journeys each their own, yet together at this crossing? Some would say, this was my choosing, others would say no. And yet not one of them would shy away. Who are these ones laughing at the next adventure? These that walk alone or together. I've watched these ones hug and pat each other on the back and walk alone and together, just to be sure of each new trek. They grumble and they laugh and they joke and they cry, and rage and sometimes mostly wonder why. But I've watched them, and I've been one of them, and I say I know these men, and although alone, I walk with them together.